Alright guys, so it is time for part 2 of this build. As you saw in the previous video, we did the fishing rod build. Show it to you one more time here if I got room. So there's the tip. I used heat shrink to put it on to these tent poles. Bent some wire to make the guides, and so on and so forth. And we've got this wrap that we put on there that we used, and there's that valve that I couldn't say, Tiffany valve. I don't know, it's when my brain is thinking fishy and it doesn't think work. So I was going to say 3-ounce valve, but yeah, you know, whatever, 3/8 valve. I can't mix the two. Never mix work and pleasure, guys. So there's the rod. Now it's time to build the reel. I've been working on it in my brain. I think I've got it all figured out for the most part. So let me show you guys what I'm going to be using. Alright guys, so I've got some random stuff here, I guess. Here's, of course, some tools I'm going to use. I've got a drill, tape measure, marker. I got some drill bits. Things I bought. Some of this I had, some of this I bought. Most of it I had, I think. I've got this angle. I've got this bolt here. Some all thread 3/8, I believe. I've got this 11/16, some fender washers, this bracket, some washers, lock nuts, different sizes. There's some smaller ones, and this spool here. I did buy these at Hobby Lobby for $2. I think this is going to be the main body of the reel. I've got this old reel. I'm going to strip the line off, tie a 4-ounce lead to it, and see if we can cast it here in a little while. I got these lids to jars that I'm going to use. And let's get started building, guys. I've got the chop saw there that we're going to have to probably use here to make some cuts and stuff. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to do is I want to get started on building that body of the actual reel itself. So the things I'm going to need for that are the lids, the jar lids, the fender washers, probably some flat washers here, some 3/8 lock nuts, the spool, of course, so one of the things we got to do is this spool fits on here just right, but of course it turns and we don't want it to turn. We want it to stay rigid, so we're gonna have to fix that up. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is let's see, check that out, guys. It fits pretty much right in the middle there. How cool is that? I need to mark this center. It says made in Texas, but we're actually building this thing in New Mexico. So let's mark our center point right here. So what I want is this 3/8 to fit through there. So let me get a bit. We'll drill out these caps real quick. 3/8. Alright, here we go. There's one. And there's two. Alright, so we got our holes drilled, guys. Let's see, now what I got to do is this fits in there just right. I need to find a way to lock this on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill this out a little bit, like this, and then I'm gonna bore it out with this. My idea is to fit this in there so that it locks. So let's do that. Maybe I should bore it first. So let's bore it first. I'm gonna drill it a little bit. This is going to be the gear, basically, of the reel. So I'm gonna thread this on backwards. I'm not sure how much room I'll need over here. It's got to be, I think, like this. So that's step 2 right here. Alright, so that's what I did, is I put this one on backwards. I got my jar lid. I put that fender washer in, and then I backed it with this nut here. Now what I want to do is I just want to make sure that's nice and super tight. Alright guys, so that's where we're at so far. We got the 3/8. Got this lock nut backwards on here. I got my fender washer in here, and then I've got this lock nut on there. Now I've drilled out the spool, and I'm hoping that I can get that spool to seat against this nut right here, like this, and I'm hoping I can tighten that other one down and kill that gap that I've got right there. So let's go ahead and get our second piece on. There's this piece here, the washer, and then the nut. We'll put that on there. Yeah. Looks like it did it. Sucked it right up on there. Perfect. So this is where we're at, guys. Got the body of the reel built, sandwiched in between these glass lids, or the jar caps, with the fender washer backing it on each side, and that's pretty solid. Alright, we got our spool going. Part 2 is going to be this L bracket. This is going to be what we use to mount the reel to the reel seat. So what we need to establish here is more or less where is this going to be in terms of our and I think that's pretty good right there. So I'm going to mark 2 spots here. So I'm going to drill out those 2 spots, and then I'll make matching holes here so that I can mount this. Alright, we got our 2 holes drilled in our angle bracket. We're going to drill corresponding holes into our reel seat. Alright, holes are drilled, guys. These line up. That's how we're going to mount it. So this reel, I want it to sit more or less about right here somewhere. So I need to drill a hole right through here. About 3/8. So now we got the main hole drilled out for the reel to sit on. Reel's gonna sit on there like that. I'm gonna use the chop saw and cut off these pieces that I don't need. So I'm gonna cut this excess off right here. And this probably about right here. Alright, there it is, guys. There's the hole for the spool. I rounded the edges off a little bit. There's the bottom bracket that's going to go against the reel seat. I'm going to let this cool off for a second, and then we'll keep on going. So before we put all that on, we need to put this L bracket on to the reel seat. Mount it on there, otherwise I won't be able to screw to it after the spool is installed on here. So we'll do that right now. Alright, guys, so that is mounted on there. So it is spool, washer, angle bracket, washer, and lock nut. So we've almost got it mounted. So I left it a little loose. I think I want to put a little bit of grease in between there so it'll roll smoothly. So let me do that. Now let me tighten that down. Not too tight, snug, just enough where it's not wobbly, but it'll still turn. So this is where we're at. Got some nice spin to it. I think it's gonna work. Now we need the handle, guys. So to build the handle, I'm going to take this little flat brace. I'm going to take this bolt. I'm going to take this 11/16 socket and maybe a couple of washers. I found this washer. It's like a bushing or something. I don't know what it goes to, but I think it's gonna work perfect. So this is where we're at, guys. Bolt, bushing, socket, right? Socket, washer, and the nut. Just tighten that on there. I'm gonna leave it somewhat loose so that thing can turn. That's what I'm thinking about using for the handle. So now we just gotta go like this. So there's our handle, guys. This is our power handle. I'm gonna drill this out and cut this excess off. So let me cut this off and drill this out real quick. Alright guys, so basically the next step is we're gonna attach the power handle to the reel. I've got it upside down. You see I got it cut off. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add one washer here. Oh, let me find the right one. Just going to add one washer, and then the handle, and then the lock nut, and hopefully that'll work. Alright guys, check it out. There is our homemade reel. Complete with power handle. I think it's gonna work alright. Now I'm gonna spool it up and I'm gonna show you the secret to this reel. Let me get some line on this thing. One thing that I'm going to add to this, it's not going to look very pretty, but it's very essential, is a little keeper. And it's going to go on here something like this, and I'll get that installed and I'll explain it to you here in just a second. Alright guys, so here it is, the overall look. There's the handle, there's the reel that we built with the stabilizer arm. I had to do a quick modification. I had a screw in this hole, and when I went to cast it, the line would grab that screw and it would mess me up. So I think we should be good now. Going on, there's the eyes, the rest of the blank, and the tip. I've got 4 ounces of lead on here. Let's see if we can get some distance, guys. So real quick, just to show you one more time the way this reel works. It's a hybrid reel that I designed in my brain here. The reason I put it on the valve is because it's a 1/4 turn valve. It has this swing arm or this stabilizer arm to keep it stabilized when I want it in this position. So what I do is I release the arm, turn the reel, turns it into a spinning style reel, which should give me no friction. It won't have the handle spinning. And that's how I'm going to cast it, just like a spinning rod. Launched it. We have a successful build, guys. So now that it's casted out, flip this over, put that into the keeper hole, and just reel it in. So this is what I came up with, Josh. What you got, brother? Let's see your build, man. I think there's another build going on too. Yakking with Sarah versus Country Girl Catfishing. That should be an interesting one. I'm gonna reel this in and cast it one more time for you guys. Man, this is gonna be fun catching a big old flathead on this thing. You guys think it could handle it? There it is. Let's do it again. Like a champ, that thing launches, guys. This is the real, guys. This was a fun build. There's the rod, guys. There's the build. We got 117 foot on that second cast we did once we figured out the glitches. The reason I didn't explain, but the reason I wanted these caps were because they're smooth. They're not going to catch the line. So as the line comes out, it comes out nice and smooth off of this top spool. Hybrid reel. I don't know if you guys have ever seen anything like this, or if there's been anything made like this before, but it was just something that I saw that when I saw Luke's video, and he was having trouble casting because of the backlash from the handle, the counterweight. I figured you could do this kind of deal on this quarter turn valve, turn it in line with the rod, and the line just comes right out. So as always, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Looking for that build, Josh. Can't wait.